Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome to how we converted from scrambling for leads and not really knowing what we were doing to building into a high-ticket machine. Now, complete transparency, I'm not going to include any names in this because that would be unprofessional. But the post that you've just watched, the reason we were scrambling is simply because the mentorship that we were a part of didn't really have any one-to-one. They had an accountability coach, but you didn't get to talk directly to the mentor. And I found myself having ideas, having questions, having things that I wanted to bounce, and they weren't really getting answered. So I went away. This is something that I used back in, gosh, what year was this? This would have been the beginning of, would have been the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. Anyway, so what I've done is I've written it down into like a really easy to kind of digest format here, and I'll explain it as I go. Now, I have ADHD, and because I have ADHD, I have absolutely obsessed over the last few years of building everything I do into a system, because if I don't have a system, I don't have a flow, it's harder to follow. And we also find this with our clients as well, is that if they don't have okay, you're going to do A, you're going to do B, you're going to do C, it's harder to follow, right? So everything that I've ever done is documented, written down, stored somewhere. So that's why I have many hard drives that back up this laptop, because there's a hell of a lot on here. Anyway, let me stop rambling. So phase number 1 was from weeks 1 to weeks 4. Okay, now what we wanted to do is we needed to clarify a market dominating offer. Now what I mean by a market dominating offer, most offers I see nowadays online, to put it frankly, are just too weak. They're far too weak. We're not giving hard advice. We're not really coming forward with authority. And ultimately, when we're kind of launching a program, it's you get an app and you get training and you get a WhatsApp and no one cares. We need to move away from selling a service, and instead we need to be selling a solution. That is magnetic marketing. So we need to clarify a market dominating offer, which was a solution to a very real problem that a lot of our clients face. And at the time, we were already physique coaching coaches. So essentially what we did in order for it to be a market dominating offer is not only were we going to get our clients in shape, but we're also going to help their clients to get in shape, because coaches and personal trainers came to me originally because they wanted to do photo shoots, they wanted to get an elite level condition, but they also wanted to work with me for 9 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, some of them, and plug it into their business. So there wasn't really anyone doing that at the time the way that I was doing it. So it became market dominating. So what I want you guys to take from that is what for your niche and what for your business is going to be a market dominating offer, okay? Then what we need to do is we need to completely overhaul the organic content machine. Now, my entire business, up until literally, you may have seen it, up until literally the last few days, has been all organic. Everything has been all organic. What you've seen in our bio recently, we've tracked all of our clients' numbers from 2022 till now, like all of their growth, all of their check-ins, all of their data is stored within our system. And we've helped coaches to add 17 million to their business, and we've done that organically. So if you think that paid ads are always the answer, they're not. That's not to say that paid ads are bad, of course they're not, but we now have a very, very powerful tool in our arsenal that we've not even implemented yet, but that we're only just going to start to run out. And then we need to install a DM system and CRM tracking. You might see my CRM up here. If anyone wants don't quote me on this, I might be able to get you a deal if you want a CRM, but message me afterwards for that. Cool, so we needed a DM system and CRM tracking, so we could really have a complete overview of leads, of people who had booked, of people who were interested, and we could kind of nurture them along that timeline. Anyway, so second phase was basically month 2, right? So we needed a weekly inbound strategy to stories. Now, when I jump on a call with coaches, one of the first things we'll kind of go into after we've got to know each other a little bit is, right, how do you gain your clients? What's the system for you to gain clients? We need a very clear, structured system so that you can consistently gain clients. And it surprises me how many people don't have that. So we've got inbound lead generation, we've got outbound lead generation, we've got BSLs, we've got ads, there's affiliate marketing, there's lots of ways to gain these, right? And our job at Coach's Corner is to help you build an OSS. That's an optimal selling system, so that we know that there's a structured way that you're going to be doing that on repeat. Now, the reason we wanted a weekly inbound strategy is because I'm working with coaches. I do not want to sit in my DMs all day, every day, and neither does a VA, just spamming people random scripts. Do not want to do it, okay? Not a vibe. We needed inbound. So how do we create inbound? We solve problems, magnetic marketing, whether it be lead magnets, whether it be guides, whether it be YouTube trainings, whether it be podcasts, whether it be using polls, whether we ask them for opinions. Like, we would have people messaging us every single day because we were strategic with the way that we set up our stories. And that's why when people came onto a call with us, they often were a lot warmer than a lot of people's other leads who would just solely focus on just messaging people. Don't get me twisted, messaging someone, not an issue. If you want to cold DM people, brilliant. Like, I completely get it. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I've never done that. Of course I've done that, you know? There's nothing wrong with connecting with people online. However, in order for it to be structured and systemized, you also need a weekly inbound strategy. Cool. Then what we did is we built and nurtured a free community. That's self-explanatory. We then had a referral drive, so we actually had a system in place. You know, when a client achieved said win, we would, you know, let them know about what the referral set would look like. This is made for my OCD go insane. I should have edited that before, but it's here now. And the number 4 was Whisper Talk Chat Framework. If you don't know what Whisper Talk Chat is, well, clients know what this is because they've got a 15-minute training on it, and we've gone over it a few times. But Whisper Talk Chat is how big businesses run a launch. In case you're wondering what that looks like in a synopsis, the perfect example is Apple. They're brilliant at it. So what Apple will do is, out of the blue, you'll be driving down the street and there's a billboard for a new iPhone. And whenever you ask what iPhone somebody has, I'm literally recording this on an iPhone right now, no one ever knows the answer to that. You know, what iPhone have you got? 14, 15, 16? Not really sure. And the way that they build hype is, out of the blue, there'll be a billboard and it will look really nice and sleek and shiny, and it'll be like Pro Max. And so in your subconscious, you don't even realise it. You're thinking about iPhone. Oh, okay, that camera looks good. Oh, it's a slightly different shape. Oh, the charging port's different. Oh, okay, interesting. That's the whisper part. Okay, they're not being too bold about it. The talk part might be, you might see a advert pop up on YouTube, or you might see an advert pop up on Instagram, or you might see something in the news, or somewhere, somehow, there is talk of this new phone, of this new product, that is different, that's solving new problems, right? So for your online marketing, it's, for example, let's say you've got a fat loss challenge and it's going to be 12 weeks. The whisper might be, right, gosh, how do I give a good example of this? The whisper might well be, you know, if I had to get in shape in 12 weeks, here's exactly what I do. And you run that for a week, right? Then the talk would be, you're specifically naming and labeling the actual name of said launch. So many people wait until the day of the launch and then people are like, what the hell is this? Whereas if people know 14 days before, this is coming, this is what it's called, I've been building it for months, it's going to be fucking incredible, people are excited for that, right? And then the shout is the sale for a week. Again, if I went into full detail of that, it would end up a completely different training than itself. But again, we're talking about how we went from a kind of medium tier to a high ticket machine. And when I say a high ticket machine is, you know, we're repeatedly closing high ticket clients for our you know, online coaching business before we kind of moved into the business coaching and kind of a business consulting realm. Cool. Phase number 3 was month 3. So once we'd run the launch, what we did was, so what we did is we had a 16-week launch sprint. So the 16-week launch sprint was the length of said launch. Most of our launches were 16 weeks. Reason being is because I knew that I could get a coach in incredible shape in 16 weeks. And that's what we did. We then plugged in a sales system, so it was a 3-step close. So we needed to do attract, capture, and then elevate. Okay, so attract new eyes, attract new attention, attract new followers, attract new people to the page and to the post and to the stories and to the inbound lead gen. A capture, what we mean by capture, so it could be email, it could be free guide, it could be free community, it could be a number, it could be a long list of things. And then elevate is getting them onto a call and then getting them obviously onto the program. And then the word of mouth drive. Now, you may be thinking, how do you systemize word of mouth? There is no app that can do this for you. You just need to be fucking good at your job. That sounds a little bit bold to say. But the word of mouth drive was simply like, right, I'm going to make sure that these guys are absolutely blown away in this 16 weeks. And the funny thing is, no one talks about this because it doesn't seem like a sexy system. The reason, even to today, the vast majority of our clients come from referrals and word of mouth is because, to put it bluntly, we're good at what we do. You know, we deliver on our promises. So the word of mouth drive was just a fancy way of saying, let's now go and over deliver to these guys. And then the final phase, which is down here, which is week 17 to 24, so a little bit longer, was we needed to install back-end automations. So what I mean by back-end automations this might surprise you guys. Automations wasn't the first thing on our agenda. It just wasn't, you know. Up and towards this point, other than obviously the CRM and the system, there are a few things that we needed to fix. So back-end automations were things such as, you know, reminders for, it could be the referral drive. It could be, what other back-end automations? things for lead magnets, things for nurture, milestones. We just made sure that they're all systemized and it was far easier to track everything. We then scaled delivery with a tiered offer. So the way that we did that is we brought on board more coaches, under the Coaches Corner umbrella at the time, and we were able to scale that offer out. So what we did initially, I think a lot of people they'll like hide their coaches behind closed doors and stuff like that. We announced them publicly, and we also said publicly that because even though we knew that they were fantastic coaches, we had a launch and we were filling said coaches up, and because we were filling said coaches up, it was an introductory offer to that, and they blew the roof of it. They really did. They got some fantastic results. And then we built a micro team. So what I mean by micro team is that's going to look different for everybody, but an example of a micro team could be videographer / photographer, video editor, someone who can manage the systems, manage the CRM, a virtual assistant, a coach, like a second coach, a third coach. So like a small team, much larger teams in the future could be like, setters, closers, multiple video editors, multiple videographers, success coaches, mindset coaches, etc., etc., etc. But anyway, guys, I'll leave that here. That is literally what we did to go from kind of getting by to building a high-ticket machine. The reason I'm presenting this to you is because hopefully I've just delivered more value to you in 11 minutes than my mentor delivered to me in 2.5 years. Not to shit on him, very smart guy. But this is all of the kind of information that I wish was taught to me when I was stuck at 7, 8, 9K. I didn't have any help when I was there. No one had any answers for me, so I had to go out and figure it out by myself. And this is exactly what I built out. So again, that's quite a lot of knowledge, or quite a lot of time kind of learning and then putting it together in a system. So it's a really easy system to flow. Like, I really do believe that if you've got accountability, structure, you've got someone that sit down with you and lay it out for you, like this is the kind of stuff. I mean, realistically, if that was one phase, this would be like a 4-page document, but I'm giving you this, guys, as like a short video. But these are the exact sort of things that your business mentor should be doing with you. And unfortunately, I don't see a lot of people doing it. And it's the exact reason why when we set up our clients, we set them up just like this. We make sure that they've actually got a full breakdown of the entire business. They know what they should be doing, when, why, how, etc., etc., etc. Like, obviously, if I showed you my client's entire plan now, that wouldn't be fair. But at the bottom of the page, we've got pages and pages and pages of like price point, launch, lead generation, content, strategy, marketing, team operations, the whole shebang. And I think that's why, at the moment we have such a high success rate of our clients, because we're simply offering things that people aren't offering. Anyway, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this training today. If you are interested in learning more about how we can help you to map out your business just like this, so you can turn into a high-ticket machine, you've got more consistent leads, more consistent clients, more consistent growth, more consistent revenue jumps, your clients are happier, they're talking about you more, they're giving you more referrals, you get more word of mouth, then all you need to do is literally, once you've watched this, just go back into DMs, message me the word coaching. I'll know you come directly from this training. And I'll speak to you guys soon. Much love. Take care. Have a good evening.